It was nice. It was refreshing. I must admit, I'm kind of annoyed at myself for not having done that sooner. One of my friends at the gym, actually, he regularly goes to different gyms, and I do feel like it's extremely important to like keep it fresh, I guess you could say, and not allow your mind to go stale. And the easiest way to do that with training, when you train as regularly as I do, is to mix up the environments. Naturally, it'd be a lot easier if I could train at home, because you could just do that on any given day, right? However, yeah, there's definitely something in that. There is definitely something in that. I really enjoyed it. Interestingly, I really struggled with the box jump today. I didn't feel snappy. I didn't feel explosive at all. And I have a theory behind that. I think the reason behind that is simply because today was a mobility focused day. The majority of the things that I did were in full ranges of motion, and one of the last things I did, the last thing I did with my legs was simply just a stretch. And I didn't feel elastic. I felt loose, right? And anybody who's done any sort of sports knows that one thing you don't really want to do is statically stretch prior to your sport, right? And today that kind of took me by surprise, I must admit, because I haven't really been too thoughtful with regards to when I do my explosive movements. However, in hindsight, I did a 50-inch box jump this Saturday just gone, and that was after almost like a powerlifting session, to be honest. I literally just jumped in with my boys session, because I'm not programmed on Saturdays and Sundays. And after that, I felt elastic. I felt explosive as fuck. However, today was the complete opposite. So it makes complete sense in my head, at least. I'm looking forward to seeing how I progress with the box jump, and I'm gonna take today's experience and remember for next time, and know better for next time, to not bother with box jumps on mobility days, because mobility days are mobility days for a reason. Or if you're going to do them on a mobility day, do them first. That's not a bad idea, thinking about it, because then it acts like a warm-up. Because funnily enough, on my mobility days, I don't actually have a warm-up, which is kind of nice. I quite like that. It breaks up the monotony of pushing and pulling the sled every single day. Not that you guys see that, because it's just not worth recording, to be quite frank. But yeah, besides that, I feel good. My hip flared up a little bit on the box jump today, which again, like, I'm not too sure as to why that would be. The only thing I could think of is it being taxed from the stretching and then being asked to explode. It's probably too contrasted in a way that doesn't benefit one another, which probably explains the slight hip flare up. But besides that, I felt good. The pullovers today felt really good. They felt really, really good. I'm watching them back. I feel like my range of motion is already improving, which, again, frustratingly supports this idea that I've had about myself for a long time now. And funnily enough, grappling kind of taught me this. Whilst I'm not flexible and I'm not even mobile, I have a weird ability to be bent into what would be considered a compromised position, yet still be strong in the range. It's like, even barring a few, this isn't a rule for every experience of every part of my body, but I found that I can be put in compromised positions to the point where, and ranges of motion that I can't access without being forced there by something external, whether that be a weight or a person. Yet I don't tend to be weak there all the time. I would say it's about a 60 to 70% split. And 60 to 70% of the time, I'm actually strong, even though I have bad ranges of motion, which is contradictory to what is common. Commonly, if you have a short muscle, it also tends to be weak, right? And now that is the case for my left hip flexor in particular. But my shoulders, weirdly, they don't mind being forced into really uncomfortable ranges of motion and then being made to be strong, either to hold that in grappling or to come out of that and push through that range of motion using something like the pullover, for example. So yeah, definitely some food for thought. I'm very curious to see where this takes me. Again, this is only week 3. Halfway through week 3 now. I need to be patient. I do need to be patient, because there is a part of me that seems to be forgetting that it's been such a short amount of time, and this is a 12-week program. Whilst I've only committed to 8, I'm gonna do 12. But I'm only committing to 8 just so that I get to 8 and I have the win. I've been successful, because that's still 2 weeks longer than my last program. And that will still be that will then be the longest program I've ever done, and only the second program I've ever truly completed. So step by step, day by day, brick by brick, we move. But if you made it this far, thank you very, very much, and I shall see you tomorrow.